Hi, I'm Matt Hubbard, and I'm here to talk about poverty and its effects on our education today. Around the world, over 3 billion people are currently under the internationally set guidelines for poverty, which is almost one half of our world population. One of the biggest areas affected, not just in America, but again around the world, is education. There are 63 million school-aged children that are currently not enrolled in school, and they just sit at home or sit wherever their home is, and that's where so they don't get the opportunity to have an education like everybody else. There are 250 million people in low-income cities in the America, plus low-income countries around the world that do not have the ability to read. And another pretty significant statistic is the 750 million adults around the world who do not possess basic literacy skills, which is obviously a key in order to get a job, which would help you pay and get out of the poverty, get above the poverty line. In America specifically, poverty is at its highest point since 1990, and it's even gone down a few percentage points in the last few years, but it's still at its highest point, which is pretty significant considering we've even had a drop in its rates. With poverty, education obviously takes a back role for pretty much most of the people that are, experiencing it. They're more focused on where to get their next meal, their next paycheck. They're trying to support their family. They're trying to find clothes. Maybe they have younger brother or sisters, or they got a single parent. They've got to help pay for a house. They might be homeless. They don't have a ride to school, shelter, places to sleep. They're definitely life necessities that, even to me, I completely understand that should come before school, which is unfortunate for the amount of people in America that still live under the poverty line. Some of the effects of poverty, just when it comes to education, and it's all just a big circle, because education is one of the biggest ways to get out of the poverty line. 31% of adults that do not graduate from high school and have a high school diploma live underneath the poverty line, which is pretty significant because that means they only get, they can't get the higher paying jobs for the most part. And you see all the stories about the high school and the college dropouts that go on to make billions of dollars each year, but really when comparison to the amount of people that live in poverty, that's a very small percentage of people. The official count, like the official poverty line, I'm not sure what that number is, like per thousands of dollars per year or whatever. But of that official line, more than half of the people living in poverty live on less than half that amount, which is pretty incredible to think about. Because again, just even what some people are considered middle class, even some of those people struggle to pay their bills and get their kids to school each day. Some ways to help this situation and make poverty maybe not go away, because I don't think it ever will, but maybe help it decrease its rates. Obviously, as I said, education comes first. You have to go get an education, get a diploma, get a job, and then get yourself out of poverty. But as I said, obviously there are problems that come before that, before getting your diploma, and so that does become difficult. Creating jobs, just employers creating jobs, companies, our government, which if you read the news, like every month they come out with a report, and 112,000 jobs were created last month. And that's obviously good news, but a lot of those jobs aren't like permanent jobs. They're just like temporary construction jobs, and so they don't provide a permanent everyday paycheck for those people. And so there you go, they'll work for a few months, they'll get their project done, and then they're back on the street and without a paycheck again. Another one is raising minimum wage, which is obviously more difficult to do, and it has been happening all over the country, but raising minimum wage, in order to make it help reduce poverty, we'd have to raise it significantly more than what would work for most companies to be able to run. So that's not a great helper, but it is possible. And then another one is reforming the criminal justice system would help, because it would, as it stands now, our prisons are overcrowded, and most of them are from like what are sometimes called like one and done offenses. I mean, most people, they're pretty minor stuff. I'm not taking a stance on anything, but like pretty minor crimes, and then they go to jail, and then they're marked forever, and then they can't get a job, and then so they're already underneath that poverty line, because maybe it was just, you know, one mistake as a kid, and then they aren't able to get the same opportunities as someone else could. And so the criminal justice system obviously should, you know, needs to be reformed somehow, and because I think that would help definitely. You see in other countries such as like Norway or Sweden, I mean, they go to jail, and people that go to jail, I think it's like 3% of people that go to jail and get out, 3% go back to jail for, you know, repeat or a different offense. So, and that's not the case in America at all. So, poverty is really a pretty vicious circle. You go to poverty, and the ways to get out of poverty, you have to overcome and sacrifice a lot, and to get the necessary skills to find yourself a job and make money. But there are ways to help, but at the same time, it's difficult to do, and our education is taking a hit for it. Thank you.
Good job again.